Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Lots of challenges rosters being confirmed over the last few days, and last night JurNii Temp's team with Neptune was officially revealed for the upcoming season. Temp responds to starting in challenges rather than going to a Pro League team. It's been a big discussion point over the last couple of months, saying that he is very confident indeed that he can deliver the goods down there in challenges to such an extent that he can return to the Pro League at some point this year, probably on a team that he actually wants to be on rather than one of the teams that he's been on for the last couple of years. Also some rumors about the YouTube deal, whether that's going to go through or not. Apparently, it has still not been signed. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. The game is just about to launch, and there was also quite a lot of discussion about the camos in the game, because the camo grinds, I used to be all over this. Like Black Ops 3, okay, I know that I can't stop talking about Black Ops 3, but I'll do it again one time. Like me and my mate, we had a race to see who could get Dark Matter first. I got it on like December the 17th, I don't know. It was like a month and a half into me to get Dark Matter, something like that anyway. We kind of just went hard, balls to the wall, played a lot of Black Ops 3, as you can probably tell. Dark Matter's like, you know, gold on every gun, diamond on every gun, you know, and then you get the Dark Matter camo. So we were grinding for that, and it was great fun to do this back in the day. But nowadays, you know, the camos aren't quite as good, they're not as exciting, nobody cares as much. But this is what Simp says. These look pretty fire, and to be honest, I mean, I think he's bang on the money. This is the gold camo, for example. This is Forged, it's called. This is Priceless. And then this one, which is catching the eye of many people, is called Interstellar, which is, you know, it's very much Dark Matter-esque, isn't it, from Black Ops 3. And Scum was seemingly pretty hyped about this as well. Says, you know, Interstellar, I'm not talking McConaughey. So, yeah, there you go. I guess these guys are going to be on the camo grind, and I understand it. I mean, if the camos are good and people want to go for it, then it's an exciting thing to do at the start of the game, but it hasn't really been as much of a big deal. Apparently, this is animated, actually, as well, which is another step forward. Okay, Dark Matter was animated back in the day. You guys know how it is. Just to quickly mention as well, from Boston Breach, the tickets for Major 1 are already live. So, you know, I always think that it would be nice if the CDL schedule for the new year was announced a long time before now, you know, so people could really plan in advance, because realistically, it's only a couple of months away, isn't it, until the Boston Major at the end of January. But, yeah, Major 1 tickets are live, 4-day gold VIP passes, they've got the stuff going on. So, yeah, if you guys want to attend, have a look at this. I did think this was funny. I don't exactly know what they mean by this, but, you know, because Jay was talking about how the VIP passes aren't exactly cheap, and Boston reply, 4 days on a plane, long flight, a long flight. I don't really know what they're getting at. I don't know if they're kind of saying that's because he says $400 more than a plane costs. So 4 days, you get 4-day VIP pass for $400. Maybe if you were to spend 4 days on a plane, that's a pretty long flight. I don't really know where this came from, but it's a funny tweet to people trying to figure out, like, what do you mean, Boston? And I don't know, I'm sure Crone has something prepped if they were to get, you know, if they get bombed, you know, out of their tournament straight away. This would be a pretty funny response, wouldn't it? And it's still up on the timeline. I really just still don't know what it means. But yeah, these are the other details of the gold VIP pass, all this type of stuff. And I definitely intend to be at this event again for the upcoming season. It was good fun in Boston before, but, you know, you couldn't really go that far from the hotel or from the venue because it was a little bit cold, if any of you guys were there in attendance as well. Now let's talk about challenges, because this is going to be the team. Not long ago, there was a roster of, I think, was it Neptune, Temp, GodRx and Gwyn? Was that the team of 4? Something like that anyway. But that shortly thereafter fell apart because Gwyn and GodRx going up to the Pro League to join the Carolina Royal Ravens. So now this is the new challenger team with Fellow and 2Real joining along with Temp and Neptune for the upcoming year. I mean, you know, 2Real, Neptune, these are players that tend to do really well down there in challenges. 2Real, when he's come up to the Pro League a couple of times, hasn't set the world on fire. Neptune was good on Florida back in the day, and of course he got that brief stint on New York that didn't really end particularly well. So, you know, but he tends to dominate in challenges. Fellow, absolute veteran. It's kind of crazy that Fellow's still going, really, because I thought that he might have, you know, stepped into being a coach or something quite a while ago. But no, Fellow still believes he can compete at a level which is very impressive and very much so commendable. So that's going to be the roster. Fellow, JurNii, Temp, Neptune, and 2Real. Now, as we saw the other day, there was a roster that was formed and then shortly thereafter blown up because someone got picked up to the Pro League. So, you know, is it out of the realms of possibility that LA Gorillas finally awaken from their slumber and decide, all right, Neptune, yeah, you know, whatever, come back and, you know, we'll make it work from there. Maybe, but possibly unlikely. And, you know, actually, as Fellow says, yo, LAG, I saved you all the trouble, hit our line, which is plausible, right? I mean, who knows what LAG are doing? Could they come in? Would LAG do this as well? Let's say LAG do decide, all right, we've probably got to field the roster. Nobody's going to buy this roster spot. We want to get out of here, but nobody's going to buy it. All right, whatever. Let's just take the 1 year hit and keep it moving. Would they form their own team? Or if you're LA Gorillas, would you just go and nab the best challenger team? Because it's possibly quite tempting to do so. And, you know, if I'm LAG and I see this team being formed, I might think, you know what, they could do all right in the Pro League. Probably wouldn't set the world on fire, but whatever. Maybe we'll give it a go. So maybe that's something to think about there. Now, Donnie Temp, of course, firstly, surprising really to find himself in challenges. Last season, I had him, we talked about the top 20 players earlier today. I had him in and around the top 20 ballpark. Like Vegas, okay, they didn't really win that much. They didn't make it to the World Championship, but Temp still had individually a pretty damn good season. And he did make the point a little while ago now that he was definitely considering not starting for a team in the CDL because he just didn't want to play again for a team that he thought had no chance to win. Playing on Legion again one more year would have been painful. And to be fair, if this team was to get signed by LA Gorillas, it's probably not much of a different story, is it? Let's be honest. Or even, you know, Ravens and these teams down there. Temp didn't really want to play for them. Now, we don't really know whether Temp had an offer from those teams or not. I mean, did Vegas say to Donnie, like, all right, come back? We don't really know. I mean, they're getting Attach and Purge, we think, to, like in their AR situations over there with Stanley Nero rounding out the team on the SMGs. That's the present rumor, at least. But, yeah, do they want Temp back? Did he just say no? Did he decide to bet on himself in challenges? Would he have taken a Vegas offer if it was there? Because, you know, guaranteed money is guaranteed money, and especially the way that I'm looking at it, thinking, well, if this is the last year of the CDL, which it might well be, lots of contracts at the end of this year could be voided. You know, just getting that money while it exists might be quite valuable because, you know, next year, who knows what even is going to be a thing. Maybe it's entirely new organizations. Maybe Vegas Legion ceases to exist, so they call it a day. I don't know. But with everything super up in the air, I think it might have been tempting just to take, you know, some guaranteed salary rather than betting on yourself in challenges. But if it works out for Temp, then it could really work out for Temp. I mean, we saw with the likes of Kismet and Havoc and players like this that have committed to challenges, once teams that turned out to be very good needed changes, they got signed to those teams. I mean, okay, Havoc had a chance to go to the Subliners. He turned it down, which in hindsight he probably shouldn't have done because Kismet came in instead and is now a World Championship winning MVP. So it can happen if the right team at the right time looks to make a change, thinks you're the best player to get from challenges, which Temp probably might be in that position, then, you know, all of a sudden he could be joining Los Angeles Thieves again, or even Minnesota Rock, or maybe Seattle Surge, a team that didn't want him now, but might well want him in a couple of months when they need a change. Now, that would especially be the case if Temp was just trick-shotting on Challenger kids, as Boy says. Now, it's never as easy as this. Like, sure, in Challenges, the level of competition is lower, and you're expected to drop better numbers. Is it easy to win? I mean, no. Alex Fernando goes on to find out the numbers of what happened when he played in Challenges before. I'm pretty sure this is when Temp was benched by LA Thieves. He went to Challenges, played a couple of tournaments down there, and yeah, he's top 3 in a cup, 5th in the Elite. So Donnie Temp says, I only played 1 Elite. I don't even know if he did get top 16 at one of these as well. I looked at his COD Gamepedia. I think he got like top 5, top 6, top 3, something like that anyway. And as he says, played 1 Elite, then I knew I was joining Paris, played with Machilla and Havoc for fun to stay warm. Maybe that was the top 16. Had like a 1.4 in the Elite that I played. I was in Challenges for a week. You naming my placements in Challenger tournaments that I actually only played 1 with Zaptius Frosty Parasite is a terrible way to say that Challengers players aren't farmers. So Temp's kind of saying, yeah, Challengers players are farmers. Like, I dropped a 1.4 in the Elite that I played. You know, you're looking at 1 tournament placing when actually they're a decent team, and that's not going to convince me that the level of competition down there isn't significantly lower. So Temp is expecting clearly to go in and, you know, romp the field down there, as theoretically he should on his performance in the Pro League. And if he does, and can prove that he is one of the best, if not the best player in Challenges, then when teams will make changes this year, there's no doubt about it, Temp should be right to the top of that type of list. What teams would look at Temp? Because, you know, let's say Los Angeles Thieves, let's say there's friction between Ghosty and Cammy, as there could be in terms of roles or chemistry, who knows? Is Temp a good option? Sure. Do they want him back? That's another question. But certainly hoping it works out for Temp going into the new season. Just before we finish, wanted to comment on the YouTube Twitch deal rumors. So if you guys are aware of this, a couple of years ago now, well, basically when the CDL started, there was a deal signed for $160 million for a 3-year YouTube deal across the Overwatch League and the Call of Duty League. Let's say that's, you know, even let's numb that down to $60 million per league over 3 years. That's $20 million a year. Let's say Activision takes their nice half, 50% tasty cut of that. You're roughly getting, you know, what, $700,000, $800,000 a year per team. That's kind of what those numbers were. The new YouTube deal will not be, understandably, as lucrative as that was. I don't know how they finessed a deal of that magnitude. It won't be as lucrative as that, but it might be lucrative enough for some of the teams to pay all of the salary for their players for the entire season. And for many organizations, I'm sure they would be keen for that. But you know, look, Hex and Scump seem to think that it's going to happen, the YouTube deal. Zuma thinks it's going to happen, but not everyone is so sure.
Actually, you probably know, low key.
Let me recenter myself and go where
Act as if like you don't know low key, but like you're the outside looking in. If you had to guess, like if you're in my position,
if I'm a player.
Actually, hold on. Let me ask you that because you already know. So why do you think there's only 4 majors?
Why do I think? Honestly,
we're
it's either
probably going back to YouTube, and we got 4 majors. What's the reason?
Probably going back to YouTube, which is already whatever. But 4 majors, I think either A, there was a 5th major planned and the venue fell through and they just didn't have enough time to recover, or B, they just didn't plan like to throw that many. That's all that I can think of is a venue fell through, a team fell through that was going to host one, or they just didn't plan for 5.
Well, that's actually smart. Damn, dude, you're actually smart.
I mean, that's not like crazy.
Zuma said the other day that he's 95% sure. Scump seems convinced that it's going to happen, and I'm sure they're preparing for what they're going to do. But Farzam here from NYXL, one of the top guys over at New York, really, their organization says it's all up in the air, which, you know, okay, a couple of days ago now, but still, that makes it sound like it hasn't been signed, right? Because if it's been signed, it's a done deal. So it might be close to being signed. They might be discussing with multiple teams. As I say, let's say this deal is worth significantly less than it was before. Even if the teams are getting 200k of a slice of the deal, like that's not really much, to be honest, and it's not enough, I would say, to justify not doing it on Twitch and having the potential growth. But at the same time, I can see why many organizations might say, all right, well, that pays for my salaries for my team this year, if I'm paying the minimums, which some of the teams are, which might be kind of handy. So some teams will be, obviously OpTic are going to say no. They would outright reject it, whatever money they're getting paid. It doesn't make sense for them. Some organizations it probably does make sense for, so maybe there's still debate on this. But if it hasn't happened by now, and well, the season starts in basically a month, is it going to happen at all? This is the hope that many people have. And as I've said before, I prefer watching on YouTube. YouTube is a better watching experience. But for discovery, even if you watch a lot of my content or Break and Watch content or CDL content, you go onto YouTube, the stream doesn't always appear. If you search Call of Duty, it's not necessarily always going to be there on your homepage. Because it's effectively a video on demand platform, discovery for live streams isn't as good as if you were to go on Twitch and you were to, usually it's on the homepage, or certainly if you were to go on Twitch and look up Call of Duty, it will be there, the first stream. And it was massively beneficial for the growth that I've seen last year. Nadejot says a while ago now, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. We shall see, but I'm imagining there's got to be some sort of announcement on this over the coming days, and the longer it drags on, the less likely this is to be happening. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.